Hello everybody and welcome to the Sovereign Village Project. Today was a very exciting day as we finally got our shed on the ground in order. This is one of the typical Amish sheds that is of course pre-built and they just deliver it on the site. Now, I normally wouldn't have gone with this option because I could of course build this cheaper myself and a little bit more customized and to my quality standards. Although it's not bad quality, but as you can see the studs are pretty far apart. But it's well built, but we went with it simply because we don't have a workshop, we've got stuff in storage, we're paying tons of money to store our goods right now while we're finished building the house. So it actually did make a lot of financial sense and just sanity sense just to get this building on the ground. So we can start to have a workshop, so we can start to build infrastructure without having my tools scattered out everywhere. But I wanted to talk about this building and how we're going to really maximize the value and use this for so much more than just a storage shed. And we're going to do so really cheaply. So I really want to show how I'm going to maximize the value of this. So as you can see, it's very standard. It's a 12 by 16 with a small loft. And so when you have this building, this one runs about $3 grand. Of course, there's much cheaper, there's much more expensive ones. When you have a building like this, you can really do a lot of building off to the sides with lean-to type structures that are very cheap to build, but add a lot of space. So on both sides, we're going to do lean-tos off the side with just basic sheet metal roofing and then cedar poles that I'll cut off of the land right here and a little bit of lumber. It'll be very cheap, but that will give us a 16 by 8 or 16 by 10 area on each side, which will allow us to store lumber. We can store any kind of equipment that doesn't need lots of protection from theft. We can store fencing. There's about a billion different purposes. We can put really secure rabbit hutches underneath. We can also use that railing or the roofing to hang things from, like herbs and such for drying. So that'll be on two sides. And then on this back south side, we oriented this very carefully towards the south. And on this south side, we will be placing a greenhouse. And that will take advantage of all this passive heat behind it and really allow us to do probably some year-round growing for some cold weather type crops. We also situated it so that we have a lot of perennial trees in the front of it, so that way in the summer the greenhouse is pretty shaded so we can be using it year-round. All of these things are going to be very cheap. They'll just be some clear plastic panels and again more of my own cedar poles that will come right off of the property and just a little bit of lumber that we have to bring in. We'll sink the poles right into the ground, add a little bit of concrete, be very cheap and simple, and we'll very cheaply extend this building and really probably more than double its size and its effective uses. That's just a couple of the things we're going to use this for. We'll of course do rainwater collection. That's specifically why we made sure we got a metal roof one. And when we extend all of these roofs and do these lean-tos, we'll do more rainwater collection off of the side of those as well. So we'll be doing lots of rainwater collection. We'll be storing barrels for that as well as these totes. So that's also what determined the placement of this, besides the orientation towards the south and the driveway access. It was very important that we chose a site that was high up in the landscape because everything below this is going to be passively irrigated with the water that we take off of this shed. That's really one of the main functions of the shed, is to gather water, because we don't have a creek, we don't have a pond, we don't have anything like that. And within this shed, we'll be doing storage on one side, and then we'll be doing a workshop bench, a very long 16-foot workshop bench on the other. So that's going to really meet most of our storage needs, and it's going to meet most of our workshop needs. It's going to meet some of our greenhouse needs, some of our animal housing needs, some of our hay storage. I forgot to mention that's one of the things we'll do with the lean-to is hay storage. And so I think this is something everyone should think about. If you need to bring in one of these portable buildings, you can very quickly and very cheaply turn that space into a lot more space and into a lot of practical functions. So just wanted to jog everybody's thoughts and make them start thinking about how else they could use their outbuildings. Maybe you have existing outbuildings. Anything can be extended, and I really like lean-to structures and greenhouses on the south sides of things, because also in this hot climate, a greenhouse can really heat a house up a lot, so that's why we're not putting one on the south side of the house. But I don't care if this structure gets heated up. It's just a workshop and storage. I'll add some ventilation, throw a solar fan in there. It'll all be good. So hopefully that gives you all some ideas. I would love to hear what you've done with your outbuildings to maximize their usefulness. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, be well, and happy homesteading. Oh, and just one more thing. At the Back to the Land Festival, which we're doing in October, I'm going to be doing my content that I'm going to be presenting on this kind of thing. I'm going to have a whole segment of ways to homestead on a very low budget. So I'm going to compile all of this stuff I've been doing videos about and try to bring some new information as well. So if that's up your alley, take a look I'll put the link to the festival in the description if you haven't already checked it out. All right, everyone, stay safe, be well, happy homesteading.